Come on. Give Daddy a kiss.
Yeah, welcome to 180, the not a skateboarding or snowboarding movie starring the Dragon Slayer himself, Coach, and the captain of sports, Danielle DiLorenzo, that was filmed in the period of time following Heroes vs. Villains, but made before South Pacific. That's right, someone made a movie starring actual survivors, but it isn't the first time this has happened. Oh no, there is a horror movie from back in 2005 starring quite a few, but we will save that one for next time. For now, we are looking at 180, which is completely fictional, poorly made, acted, scripted, and edited. We are not getting ourselves into a secret gem of a film here. Oh no. But today, my goal is not to tear apart this movie, but to enjoy the storyline combined with all the weird stuff that comes from the earlier mentioned bad aspects. Let's call this a bad survivor movie review, because there are more of these out there than you know. If you want to watch this movie in full, I have a link to it in the description of this video. But anyways, there are awkward moments galore, so let's explore them. Now, I do want to thank you for watching, liking, commenting, and subscribing. For only a few bucks a month on Patreon, you can pick what videos I make, watch all of this channel's content early, chat with other fans of the show, and even get exclusive videos every month. With that, let's jump into this weird movie with the Dragon Slayer himself and the captain of sports. So what is 180? It's a weird drama movie that tries, and I do mean tries, to awkwardly splice in some comedy. Awkward is the key word here, because no one in this movie is safe from the weirdness, not Coach or Danielle DiLorenzo. So the film starts with Coach sitting in an airport, waking up from a nap to some kid breakdancing. Now, this kid's name is Corey, and I don't know why we spend so much time introducing him since he exists in only this one scene for 3 minutes of the film, but the movie makes a point of introducing him with a lot of screen time. So here he is. Anyways, we learn that Coach had a popular band back in the early 90s called the Zebras, who had an album of theirs go platinum, but they all died in a plane crash except for Coach. He is still stuck living off of this former glory of when they were still alive, so much so that he just carries around his band's old CDs in a backpack to give to people. But something I do want to mention that will be happening in pretty much every single conversation we see in this movie is the very awkward dialogue. For example,
sounds tight as a screw right there.
Epic tight.
Yeah, I have watched this movie 3 times and it still doesn't feel right. Anyways, we see Coach stealing the lady who is napping next to him, her cigarettes. And so clearly our protagonist here is meant to be flawed with some past demons he will have to fight and overcome by the end of the film. It's a fairly simple setup to understand, so then we will need some other characters to balance him out by being likable. Enter Danielle DiLorenzo, the other survivor in this movie, and how do we meet her for the first time?
Excuse me, it's my bag, moron. Hello? Can you not read?
Oh, so she isn't likable either? This will be a strange movie indeed. Coach and her talk, and as it turns out, he wants her to manage his new band that he doesn't have yet. And she says, "No way, dude, you dumped me." Followed by the lamest fall I have ever seen in cinematic history.
Now I'm leaving.
Tuesday.
He follows her outside as she hails a cab and she says, "I'm married now. Don't you remember crashing the wedding on your old reality TV show?" To which Coach is clueless because of all the drinking and drugs he has been addicted to. So she finally gets in her cab and Coach is relentless in getting her to say yes to managing his new band. She tells him, "Fine, you got 6 days to get me a demo."
6 days.
Oh, rock and roll, baby! Yes!
Wait, hold on a second. Are you telling me Coach leaves the airport after napping there and then purposely stumbles into Danielle, meaning he was waiting for her at the airport? That's a bit strange. Well then, we proceed to then get this weird flashback about Coach's old band that I mentioned before died in this plane crash. And while he is doing his very stilted monologue about how great his band was that he was in, we get some weird details that I don't think any of us wanted to know.
He got laid more than anyone else I've ever known. for no more than the obvious reasons. That is not a sock down there. Not even his gigantic crotch could save him.
When Coach goes back to his hotel room, he pops in the DVD, and do you remember that scene I showed you at the beginning of this review? That's the wedding. Coach watches exactly what happened at the wedding that he totally forgot about, and Danielle just lets him have it.
Look, everyone, you're on my show. Flash, everyone, your wedding boobies.
You've already ruined your own life. Now you want to ruin mine?
Come on, give Daddy a kiss. Oh!
The movie then moves us along to Coach forming a new band, beginning with the worst character in this movie, by far, Marvin. He's a real Debbie Downer in every scene he is in and has me constantly rolling my eyes.
Always with the booze, drugs and booze.
I've never had a problem with the hard stuff.
You're the same damn liar you've always been.
After a way too long conversation where we learn that not only does Coach have a drug problem, he lies a lot too, they leave the diner and...
No time to dash! No time to dash!
Coach and Mr. Debbie Downer Marvin then go to a local high school to recruit the janitor to play drums for them. That janitor's name is Woody and he never talks. Don't ask, it's not explained, and it's never funny. And there is a payoff later in the film, and that payoff is that he says one word. It's not funny, ever. What makes the scene really awkward for those of us watching is how it is strongly implied, and by strongly implied I mean it basically tells us that Debbie Downer Marvin and Coach are checking out 16-year-old girls at a high school and then get kicked out of that same high school because of it.
Dude, you're sick. They're like 16. I wasn't. I didn't. You were looking too. I saw you.
What are you looking at? Look at me when I'm talking to you, pervert!
They then get their final member of the band at some local music store, Alfred. He is by far the only one of this group who seems genuinely impressed by Coach's old band.
Bet his album didn't go double platinum.
Neither did yours.
Who cares? You're the lead singer of the Zebras, man.
Yeah!
They then go to the hotel and no clear reason is given, but at the front desk, Coach and the band, which he has now named the Janitors, gets stopped by the front desk lady who is weirdly attracted to Coach and says, hey, if you can't pay for your room, well, I can find another way for you to make that payment.
Those uniforms are sexy. I love a man in uniform.
I left my wallet up in my room.
I may come up later and get it.
Hello! Up in the hotel room, Mr. Debbie Downer Marvin recognizes the song that Coach starts playing as his own and wonders how the heck does Coach even know this? As it turns out, Coach has been doing something a bit peculiar.
You know that fat man with the Raggedy Ann hair and fag glasses that walks by you on the corner every day? That's me! I got the fat suit and the hair out in the trunk.
After then playing that song together in the hotel, a music video for Coach's old band comes on TV, and it gets weirdly meta with the information that it's giving during the music video, especially when it talks about how long it took to shoot the movie, and a little wink wink as to Coach being on the show Survivor. So far we have seen Danielle think Coach is attractive, the front desk lady be way too into him, but as it turns out, the cleaning lady of the hotel not only supplies Coach with his drugs, but is into him too. What universe is this taking place in again?
Sexy Gavin. You'll be a big star again. Make big money.
Yeah, my money's in my room.
Never play stupid with me, Gavin. You can make it up to me like always.
After their awkward exchange and flirtation, after a 40-minute absence in the film, Coach literally runs into...
Watch it, buddy.
Which has Danielle wondering, for good reason, is he stalking her? In this scene, no, he isn't. At the airport previously, he absolutely was. Danielle says, look, Coach, I know you're super hot, but I'm super married, and we are 1000% definitely not getting together again.
We're not gonna hook up.
I wasn't?
So if you're here because you think there's even a remote chance of us getting back together, You're sadly mistaken.
I love me some foreshadowing. But moving on, Coach's new band finally goes to record their first song after a bunch of seemingly pointless long scenes of them getting a short school bus to tour in and being locked outside the recording studio for no reason. There's a guy helping them make their record who doesn't really want to be helping them make the record, and someone must have thought he was a real comedian because they give him way too many of these types of jokes.
Sorry, I'm like tools. Just having hot, passionate sex with my girlfriend. I get 7.15% of the net. Take it or leave it. In case you hadn't figured it out yet, that's my girlfriend.
In fact, now that I'm thinking about it, a lot of this movie is people being generally mean-spirited to each other like that, aside from Coach, Woody, and Alfred, but those latter two are not really major parts of the film. In fact, one of them doesn't even talk. So the janitors go to record their first song, and...
What the hell was that?
I think that was supposed to be a joke. I'm not sure, you tell me. We already saw them successfully play a song together at the hotel, so if we are really to laugh at this scene, then show us the mess that they are, or don't show them being successful earlier. And then, get this, with no work done in between, they're successful mere minutes later. It doesn't make any sense. After all that nonsense, they then shoot their own music video that, while amateurish, does nail the pop punk vibe it's going for, cheesiness at all. After what seems to have been one day of recording a demo and the music video, Coach returns back to the hotel and shoves the CD under Danielle's door. Not but moments after doing so, a knock is at his door. Who could it be now?
What?
Definitely needs some work, but it's a nice start.
I'm back, baby.
Whoa! Wearing a scantily clad nightgown, Danielle is ready for more than just Coach's CD, if you know what I mean. Weirdly, this is only her third appearance all movie, and once again she has been gone for 35 minutes. But more importantly, it's the lesson that nothing good happens this late at night, which is how we end up with possibly the most awkward scene in the entire film. But don't worry, this movie ain't going all Game of Thrones on us. That is the horror film I mentioned earlier's job. No, instead, Danielle realizes she shouldn't be doing this since she is married and says she only came over to tell him that his songs were, merely okay. Now, if that's really the case, then why is she wearing the nightgown?
I came up here to tell you that the song needs work, but it's passable.
I need you.
You need help.
But the real issue of why these two never really worked out is revealed as we learn that Coach's ex-girlfriend died on the same plane crash that killed his old band, and he can't stop thinking about her to this day, which somehow transitions to this.
Come watch the janitor shine, and watch me shine. One last time.
Okay then, we reach what seems to be the climax of the movie as Coach and the rest of his new band are preparing for their first ever gig, which somehow seems to be sold out. To be fair, I would go to a concert where Coach was the lead singer too. But before they rock out,
Man up and put your socks in. The ladies are gonna love it. Rock and roll, baby.
Oh boy, more of those kinds of jokes. Not that there weren't more earlier in the film, I just didn't choose to show them to you. During their set, Danielle shows up and lovingly looks at Coach through a door that is off to the side of the stage and then just leaves 10 seconds later. I have no idea why, but that's the last we see of her after the concert is over. Their first ever, mind you. The band is on their short bus back to the hotel and there is a girl fawning over each guy in the band.
Oh yeah, I hope that's not a sock in there.
So this is where I need you all to help me figure out the ending of this movie. Legitimately, I legit do not understand. The band gets back to the hotel and everyone gets on the elevator to go back up to their room for what I'm assuming is going to be not PG-13, except for Coach. He says he will take the next ride up, and then we cut to this flashback plane scene that has happened multiple times in this film, where Coach has been giving us more and more details about his band, but instead of his old band, we see the new band members in the plane, and they're jumping out of the plane with parachutes on, except Coach. He is in the cockpit with his dead girlfriend, and when they kiss, The movie just ends. Did Coach die? He was just standing in the hotel lobby, not driving their bus down the street on a collision course with anything. It doesn't make any sense, but hey, that's 180. And at 1 hour and 46 minutes long, this movie's runtime is outrageous. There is so much I cut out of this review to make this move along. Trust me, it plods really slowly. While there are a vast number of issues in this film that could not have been fixed via editing, there easily could have been a half-hour cut out of this movie, no problem, and it would have been better for it. If this movie was shortened, it could fall into the so bad it's good category. But even with Coach and Danielle, it plods along so slowly that the highlights I just showed you and the weird stuff is drowned out by all of the slow scenes that take far too long in between. I wish I had some sort of meaningful conclusion for you all about this film, but thanks for watching, and doubly thanks for liking and subscribing. See you all next time.